Welcome back to our course on Python. We will study loops. There are two types of loops, the for loop and the while loop. Let's start by the for loop. So we have our code here for a variable or a counter I in range, let's say 3. What will happen? It will print I. So let's have our colon at the end here and print I. What will really happen here is that the counter I will start counting from 0, then 1, then 2. These are the three numbers that the counter will count. We have here our for block, which means that I will start counting 0 and executes all what is written in this block. It will print I, which is 0. On the next run, it will count 1 and prints 1. Then for the third loop, it will count 2 and will print 2. Let's have our run here to see what really happens. So run. Yes, it prints 0, 1, 2. So please mind that the range here starts from 0 and counts 3 numbers, which means that the written number here will be excluded. Let's have another code here. We will have another variable, say x, which will multiply this I by 10. Let's have print here I, x to print the two variables. I will start counting from 0, and then x will be 0 multiplied by 10, which is 0. This means that a full loop here is being executed, and 0, 0 will be printed. On executing another loop here, I will count 1, which will be multiplied by 10, and x is 10. On a third loop here, I will be 2, and x will be 2 multiplied by 10, 20. And this counts the 3 in the range of I. So let's execute here and see what will happen. Yes, it prints 0, 0, 1, 10, and 2, 20. Let's have another for loop for a list. So let's have here a list of fruits, and mind that a list must be between squared brackets. So we have our first element, say orange. Our second element is, say, apple. And a third element, say, banana. Let's have another list of by fruits here. So let's say by fruits equals an empty list, and let's append each fruit we buy from the list orange, apple, banana to the buy fruits. Let's now start having our for loop. So for fruit, which is the counter of the elements in the list, in list, let's have our colon here and start our block. So by fruits dot the method append between brackets fruit, which means append each fruit in the list to the new list by fruits. Then let's print the list by fruits. Let's have a run here. What really happens here is that the counter fruit goes into the list named by list and seeks the first element orange, appends it to the by fruits, and prints the new list, which now consists of one element orange. On the second run of the loop, it does the same thing for a new element, which is apple, and prints the new list created. The last run of the for loop here goes to the counter or the element banana in the list, which is fruit here, and appends it to the created list by fruits and prints the full list now. So let's now start our while loop. So let's write while counter we have a counter here less than 4. Let's define the counter above. Have our counter equals to 0. We have our colon here. What will happen in this while loop? Let the number to be a new variable, which will be equal to the counter multiplied by 10. And we print a smart print here using the F string, and between quotations, counter is, and between the placeholder here, counter, and number is between the placeholder. We just put our number. What will really happen here is that we will start by a counter equals 0. The counter will count 0, then 1, then 2, then 3. It will start counting from 0, the assigned counter, until it fulfills the while condition. While counter less than 4, so it doesn't really reach 4. The while loop will be executed 4 times. Each time a number here is created equals the counter times 10, and we have our print here. But how will this counter increase by 1? We simply write here, let the counter equals counter plus 1. And let's have our run here. So we have counter is 0 and number is 0 multiplied by 10. 1 multiplied by 10 equals 10. 2, the number is 20. Counter is 3, then the number is 30. And yes, it was executed 0, 1, 2, 3 times as we explained previously. Let's try something else now. Let's have those indented here. So let's have here an if condition. So if counter is less than or equal to 2, we multiply our number, the counter, by 10, else say multiplied by 20, else number equals counter multiplied by 20. And let's have our run here. And let's have another print here so that every case will be printed. We have our if block here, an internal block, and the while block, an external block. So here is our external block here. So what really happens here is that we have a counter 0. The while condition is fulfilled. The counter is less than 4. It is equal to 0. So it goes into the yellow block and inspects. Is the counter less than or equal to? Yes. So we have our number equals the counter multiplied by 10. So we have 0 multiplied by 10 equals 0. The program starts executing all the yellow block. When it is finished, it goes to the outer red block. So it goes to the outer red block and adds 1 to the counter. So we have the counter here now to be 1. It goes into the yellow block and expects, is 1 less than or equal to? Yes, of course. And therefore, the number is 1 multiplied by 10 equals 10. It goes out of the yellow block and executes the while red block. It adds the counter by 1. So we have now the counter equal to 2. And it inspects. Yes, the counter is less than or equal to 2. So we have 2 multiplied by 10 equals 20. Finishing the yellow block, it continues with the red block. It increases the counter by 1, and therefore we have a 3 now here. It goes into the yellow block. It tests the condition. Is the counter less than or equal to 2? No. So it leaves the whole if and goes to else. And executes number equals counter by 20. So 3 multiplied by 20 is 60. Continuing with the red block, the counter is increased by 1 and is equal now to 4. It goes to execute while counter less than 4, this condition is not fulfilled and therefore the program ends. Let's have our run here and see what happens. Yes, 0 for the counter, number is 0, 1 multiplied by 10 and 2 multiplied by 10. And the last item is 3 multiplied by 20 is 60 as we expected. Let's now have a while loop for a list. Let's have all this to be comments. And let's start our list here. Let's have a list of fruits. Equals an empty list. And let the user enter the fruits he likes. So while true, and let's have our colon here. In the while block, let's write fruit equals input. Between quotations, enter your fruit, your favorite fruit. Enter fruit. Else, you should enter small q to quit. To quit the program. And of course, we will have our condition here. If fruit equals our q, then we should quit. This is written by break. Break here breaks the while loop. This is how the while loop is not infinite. Otherwise, it will be infinite. Of course, here we must have the double equal. Let's have here our else. Tap to have else. If not Q, then you entered a fruit. So let's append in fruits in the list. Dot the method append the fruit you choose. So we don't really want to get confused between fruit. It's an element, one element in a list named fruits. So we have here our list named fruits. We enter one element in it and we append this element to the whole list of fruits. Finally, we print the whole list. So we have our shift tab here, our shift tab again, and our print fruits, the list. And let's have run here. So let's test our queue. It breaks and ends and leaves the empty list of fruits empty as it is. Let's have a space here for a better output and let's rerun our program. So we have enter fruit, let's say orange. Enter another fruit or Q, let's say apple. And we expect now that orange and apple both are appended to the list fruits. On another input, let's input our Q to quit or break the while loop. And we have our orange apple list printed. This ends with our loops. We studied the for loop and the while loop.